You're locked into Hits 92.3. The views, stories, and opinions shared on this program belong solely to the hosts and their guests. They do not represent the views of Hits 92.3 Radio, management, staff, partners, advertisers, parent companies, or affiliates. And if you don't know what any of that means, listener discretion is advised. Now sit back, turn up your volumes, and enjoy the content from one of the greatest, dopest radio personalities to ever touch this microphone in 3, 2, 1.
All right. It is another episode of the King Raphael Show, where elevation is the expectation. All right, y'all. We about to get into this. Let me clear up my environment for a second. Make sure everything is looking the way I want it to look, cause I'm picky about my stuff. I heard Erica Badu say that, and that is the truth. You know how us artists are. Everything gotta look right, be on point. We moving today. We gonna get it right, y'all. All right. I think we almost there. How we look? We looking good, IG, TikTok. We good. All right. I think I wanna get my camera down just a little bit. I got a lot of headroom. One thing y'all don't know, if y'all don't know, I used to do media a lot. So I've done a lot of television shows as far as being the cameraman. So I'm a long time camera person, y'all, a videographer. So I really be looking at my image and the composition and things of that nature. So that's just me. I think we're looking good. We are looking gravy now. All right. So you're watching the King Raphael Show. Again, elevation is the expectation. I hope y'all been listening in, logging in. I hope y'all been elevating. I hope y'all have learned some things, y'all, because man, we really been dropping some dynamite. We've been talking about some serious things. I mean, last week we were talking about the soul, right? And what the spirit is, and how the soul is in the middle between the spirit and the body, right? And how the body basically takes all of this information of what it touches, sees, feels, and hears, and how it deposits it to your soul. And then your soul takes it over to the spirit and gives it to the spirit. So the spirit processes, and the spirit comes back to the body and say, this is what I want to happen. Body, will you do it? The body may and the body may not, right? So this man, when I'm telling y'all, we've been talking about some very interesting topics. Today is the same, y'all. We're going to be talking about one of the greatest truths in this life, which is direction matters more than speed. And I know how we are in this microwave generation where we want everything quick. We want our money to come quick. Don't even want to have to work for it, right? We want our food to come quick, right? We even want quick relationships, right? We want everything to happen so fast. But it's about your purpose in this life. It's about your direction. It's not about how fast you're getting to one place. It's about that destination, right? So you gotta remember, y'all. Even before you start, one of the things that God does is He already has finished it. So before you started it, God has finished it, because that's a principle of God. God actually starts with the end in mind. We're supposed to begin with the end in mind, but God actually does, because He puts everything within itself. God hides everything within itself, including your future. So God hides the future of everything inside itself. Y'all get that? So what I'm telling you is that now God chooses your destination. He chooses your destiny before you're even born. He chooses your destiny, but it's your choice if you're going to fulfill it. Y'all got where I'm going with that? All right, y'all. You see, let me explain why direction matters more than speed. Because God never asked you to be the fastest. He only asked that you be faithful. This is why the race is not given to the swift, nor is it given to the strong, but it is given to the one who can endure. Okay? So tonight we're gonna learn how life is exactly like a ship. Yes, and you're the captain. Your values, they're the compass, and your faith is the anchor, and your friends, They the crew, literally, right? So, and your storms that you go through in this life, they are not designed to destroy you. They're actually designed to reveal who you are. So if you understand this, say, all right, matey, and let's get ready to sail. Cause we about to take off, y'all. You're listening to the King Raphael Show. So check this out, y'all. I want to start off with a story about a old ship in the harbor. There was this old wooden ship, and it sailed the seas for nearly 50 years. And its paint had started to fail and fade. Its sails had patches on it from countless trips on the sea. The deck was scarred from storms. Its anchor was worn, and the mast leaned a little bit. And when visitors came to look at this ship, many of them laughed. They would say things like, why wouldn't they get rid of this old ship? Or they would say things like, it doesn't even look valuable anymore. Why is it here? Or, hey, that ship has seen better days, right? Some of us wake up in the morning and say that to ourselves, oh, I've seen better days. But some people who had wisdom, some people would look at that ship and they would say, you know what? This ship has sailed the seven seas. I can see it. And it came back to this harbor as a beacon of glory. So there was a little boy listening to what people were, and he even wondered, like, why would people even respect this old ship? Like, it's broken, it's dirty, it's down. And the sailor smiled. He said, young lad, come with me. So he walked the boy closer and stood right beside the ship. Then he pointed to the scratches on the hull. And he said, you see, every mark tells a story. You see that scar right there? That came from a hurricane. He said, you see those dents on the side? That came from waves crashing into it. Then he repaired the mast, but you know how it got broke? By pulling another ship to safety. So these patches on the sails, they survived winds that destroyed other vessels. So the boy looked at the ship differently at this point, but it still looks old. The sailor nodded and he said, it is old. But here's what makes it priceless. He placed his hand on the ship and said, it's been through storms without becoming one. The boy stood quietly. Then the sailor looked at him and said, son, life is a ship. Some people spend their entire lives trying to keep their ship looking perfect, to avoid risk, trying to avoid the storms. They avoid sacrifice. They stay trying tied to the dock because they're afraid of scratching up their ship. So they stay right there in the harbor. But a ship was never built to stay in the harbor. They were built for the ocean. And as he continued, if your ship doesn't have any scars, that probably means it never sailed, right? Life message. If your life that you're going through has no obstacles, then you're probably going nowhere. If you don't have any battle scars on you, you probably ain't never been through nothing either. Okay? So the scratches, they aren't a sign of failure. They're actually evidence that the ship kept going. You see, then he pointed towards the sea. One day, your life will be like this ship. People won't admire you because of the paint was perfect. They'll admire you because you've weathered the storms. They carried people to safety. This ship carried a lot of people to safety. This ship stayed afloat when others sank and finished the journey that it finished the journey because you know why? The ship was actually created to sail. So a ship that's created to sail is a really good ship. And it's a noteworthy ship. It's an honorable ship. So the sailor told that young boy something that he would never forget. He said, never be ashamed of the scars on your ship. They prove that you have the courage to leave the harbor. How many of you today have the courage to leave the harbor? You see, life, it is a ship, and you're not measured by how polished your exterior looks. You are measured by what your ship endured, who it carried, and what storms it survived. So, y'all, we're going to talk about this a little bit further because life is a ship. You're listening to the King Raphael Show. Yo, we're going to come back and drop some science on you. Hi, I'm Professor G, the Airbnb King. When I first started my Airbnb business in 2019, I made a lot of mistakes. I really needed a mentor, but one mistake I didn't make was giving up. And since I didn't give up, 18 months later, I cleared my first six-figure income, which allowed me to quit my lucrative job as being a college professor at Spelman College and do this full time, and I never looked back. Since then, I've acquired properties in Atlanta, such as downtown, Midtown, Buckhead, even moved over to the West End, became the Airbnb King, got more confidence, started buying properties in Miami. Ever since then, I knew skies was the limit and monopoly was the game for me. So believe in yourself. You will and you can win at this game. Book with the Airbnb King. We're gonna make some silent moves, but loud results.
Hey, the secret's out. Hits 92.3 is now accepting submissions for brand new shows. That's right, you could become a radio personality right here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. You don't have experience? That's okay. You don't live in Georgia? That's okay. You don't know what to do now? Now that's not okay. But your girl is here to help you out. Email us today at hits923newshow@gmail.com and tell us about your potential show with Hits. Again, that email address is hits923newshow@gmail.com. Don't be last. The slots are filling fast.
All right, everybody. You are listening to the King Raphael Show. And today we're discussing that life is a ship. And I was just asking you all who's going to leave the harbor, because God created you to be a ship that was created to sail, and not only sail, but survive the voyage. But too many of us are scared to get in the ocean, talking about, I can't swim, right? Or I might mess my boat up. It's hurricanes out there, right? So you want to keep your ocean. It's really about becoming the ship that survives. So how many of you today are truly stuck in your harbor? You got to get out, because your success, your excellence is not sitting stagnant. It's in those uncomfortable moments, right? You cannot grow being complacent or being still. You got to get out there. You see, many of us who do have the courage to leave the harbor, but the storms of life slow us down so that we forget our value and forget who we are. We forget the power in ourselves. Let me give you an example about value for a moment. Let's say I got this $20 bill right here. Y'all see it? Real deal $20 bill. Now, who wants this bill? If you walking down the street, you're going to see this bill and you're going to pick it up, right? But let me ask you a question. What if this dollar bill, what if this $20 bill was crumbled up? Would you still want it? Would you still pick it up off the ground? Many of you would. But what if it was stepped on, right? And what if it was just kicked around, thrown around? What if this money was dirty? Would you still pick it up and keep it? Matter of fact, what if it was written on like it had a tattoo or something, right? And it's just, let me write on this. It got thug life written on it. Anything, right? Wearing sunglasses. He got a let me give him a mustache. All of this stuff, right? Y'all see it? Would you still want to keep this $20 bill? But hold on. What if it what if it was torn? What if it was literally torn right down to its core and crumbled up and dirty? Who would want this dirty, nasty, stepped on, tattooed, right? $20 bill. You would? Well, why would you want it? Because it still has value. And that's the point. Many of us in life are just like this $20 bill. We've been crumbled up in this life. Many of us have tattoos. Many of us have been torn right down to our soul. Many of us have been dropped in this life. Many of us have been stepped on. Many of us have been kicked around. But guess what? Just like this $20 bill, you still have value. And God still sees the value in you, no matter what you've been through. Matter of fact, the more stuff that you've been through, the more God is attracted to you. Because now you're humbled and you can be used. You better read some of these stories in the Bible. These people went through some stuff. Joseph went through prison, right? David had to go through lions and Goliath, right? People have gone through stuff, but you don't expect to go through nothing, right? Regardless of what it is, you got value in this life. So it doesn't matter what you've been through. All that really matters is where you're going through, right? It reminds me of an old poem, Invictus. Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever God there may be for this, my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutches of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but it's unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds. It'll find me unafraid. You see, it matters not how straight the gate, how charred the punishment the scroll, for I am the master of my fate, and I'm the captain of my soul. You are the captain of your soul. But where is this going? Where are you taking your soul to? You see, your body is the ship. So that's why life is like a ship, and you are the captain of it. And without a captain, chaos follows, especially a captain that doesn't know his destination on where he's going. It'll be some problems. Okay? You see, the captain determines the destination, the captain determines the route, the captain determines how you respond during a storm, and the captain has the life and the future of everyone on board. He's responsible for their safety. Just as you are the captain of your household, young man, you are responsible for their safety, their well-being. Where are you taking your family to? Have you set your compass? Your internal compass, that internal GPS, is it set? You see, you are the captain. And see, as a captain, the very first lesson I'm going to teach you is very simple. Stop giving strangers control of your ship. Do you hear me? Stop giving strangers control of your ship. Because they may lead it in the wrong destination. A destination that was never ordained by God. A destination that was never created for your specific purpose. Because you are special. You were specially created with a purpose and a function. And I don't want you to die or leave this earth never fulfilling your purpose in this life, or operating in your function, or living a purpose-driven life. This is why you cannot give strangers or people who don't have your best interest in mind control over your vessel. control over the ship. Sometimes this happens in bad relationships or bad marriages, right? The wrong partner can take control of the ship and lead it in the wrong direction. You see, sometimes it needs to be one captain in the house and one captain only. Because if two people have two different visions means division. And you won't be going in the same direction. And you better believe I know what I'm talking about. You see, many people allow social media to captain their ship. Many of us allow fear to captain our ship. Many of us allow the politicians and what Trump is talking about to captain our ship. How many of you know people that allow relationships to captain their ship? How many of you allow the opinions of others to captain your ship? Every day, certain people in this life, they just wake up reacting, never leading, never deciding, never steering the ship. They just reacting to someone else's manifest. You see, the captain's job is not to react to the waves. You see, the captain's job is to maintain the direction, no matter what happens. Full steam ahead. The ocean does not determine where the ship goes, but the captain does. That's why the captain has to have vision. That's why the captain has to have a certain level of integrity to know when he is off course. Oh, am I going too deep for some of y'all? Integrity matters in this as you being a captain. Because who wants to be on a ship where the captain has no integrity and will go just anywhere and land on anybody's island? You see, many people are blaming the ocean for the destination they choose. But see, your life changes when you truly accept responsibility for who's behind the wheel. Another thing that a captain needs to have is a compass. And the compass is his values. You see, a compass doesn't care about feelings. A compass doesn't care about trends. A compass doesn't care about the opinions of others. It is always pointed north. Y'all get that? That's what values do. Values keep you pointed towards the truth. Values show up when your emotions say something different. It's about your values. What do you stand on? Are you standing on your square? That's what that means, a compass and a square. These are navigational tools. Are you standing on it? Do you know where you're going? You see, if not, the life that you lead will always lead you. Where are you going in this life? You see, you got to have values because without values, money becomes your God. Without values, feelings become your guide. And without culture and without values, culture becomes your teacher. And then the danger is that the ship can look beautiful and still could be lost. Oh, and it's a lot of beautiful ships running around here in Atlanta. Please believe it, please. But they're lost. Don't know where they're going. Just looking good, sailing around, moving fast, but no true destination, right? And likewise, you can be the same way. You can have followers and still be lost. You can have money and still be lost. You can have degrees and still be lost. You can have fame and still be lost. You can look good, be pretty, or you can be handsome and still be lost. You can be book smart and still be lost. You see, success without direction is one of life's greatest failures. Y'all better hear me and hear me clear. Success without direction is one of life's greatest failures because God planted your destiny from the beginning. It's up on you to fulfill that destiny. It's a great waste of your time if you don't know where you're going in this life. Now, I've mentioned the term compass, but your compass is your values. Your compass is your integrity. Your compass is your faith. Your compass is your family. Your compass is your purpose. Your compass is your discipline. The things that you do regularly that you won't stray from, the direction that you won't stray from. Because when the storms come, and I promise you that it will, because it's either two parts of your life. You either just came out of a storm or you're about to go into one. So when the storm comes, does your values become your navigation system? Or do the people around you tell you where you're going? Set your compass on these four things, and I promise you, you can't go wrong. If you set your compass on faith, you set it on family, if you set it on finances, and you set it on fitness, those are four solid pillars that will build up your house that you can stand on. And anytime you lose direction, think about where you're going. Think about your family. Think about your finances. Think about your faith. And think about your fitness. Because if you don't have your health, then you have nothing in this life. Right? And on that note, I'm going to take a commercial break. And I'm going to let y'all ponder on what I said. And I'm going to come back and pontificate on some more. You're listening to the King Raphael Show. Life is a ship, y'all. Hey, have you ever been at work on a Monday morning behind your desk wondering, what am I doing with my life? Well, I wanted that same question as well. So what I did was I created a business around the lifestyle that I truly wanted. And for me, that's really about travel. So I wanted to make the beach my office, and that's exactly what I did. I can work from anywhere around the world with my customizable Airbnb business. So let me show you how to do it for yourself. So let me help you create an Airbnb business that will sustain you for the rest of your life and sustain your children, right? Let me show you how to automate your business so that it's on cruise control. Let me show you how to fly under the radar if you need. I can also teach you how to get Airbnb properties with no money down. Yes, no money down. See, many people don't think that they can get in business because they don't think that they have the funds. But you really don't need it. What's more important is the information. So join the workshop. I have a team of super hosts that will be right there that will help you start your listing the same day. Now that's powerful. All right, so we're giving out the information. So come to the workshop, click the link below, or DM me, and I can provide you all the information. I'm talking to all my captains out there, all my captains who have a ship to steer and a course to sail. There's some things that you must have. Of course, you know you must have a compass, and that is your integrity and where you're going in this life. But let me tell you what else is important. You got to have an anchor, and the anchor is your faith. You see, an anchor has one job and one job only: to hold you steady when everything around you is moving, right? When the ocean moves, the wind moves, currents move, waves move, but the anchor keeps the ship from drifting. Faith works the same way. Faith doesn't eliminate storms. Faith prevents the drifting during the storms. Y'all caught that? Faith does not eliminate storms, but what it will do is keep your ship from drifting during the storms because it's anchored in God. Y'all got that? So many people think that just because you have faith or people of faith don't have challenges. In fact, they get the most challenges, right? But that's not the case, y'all. You see, faith means that challenges won't move you because you're anchored in your faith. You're anchored in that word. Even when the doctor gives you bad news, it's that faith that comes in to anchor you. It's that faith that lets you know that God is your doctor. You see, when money runs low, it's that faith that lets you know what? His eye is on the sparrow. So if he's taking care of the sparrow and all of the animal life, I know he watches me. You see, faith is when people leave you. You see, that's when your faith is needed the most. Because it's that faith that lets you know that some losses are not punishment at all. It's protection. You see, once you start understanding God's principles, you'll understand what happens. You see, God subtracts before he multiplies. That's a fact. That's a principle. God subtracts before he multiplies. God will always remove the lesser before you receive the greater. That's why you got to be in position. You got to be ready for that season when it happens, or it will pass you by. And you'll be holding on to something that God never intended to go in your future. I know I'm talking to somebody out there. I know y'all feel this way. I know these feelings and emotions. Sometimes God will not allow you to go into your next season holding on to that same baggage. It's time for you to let it go so that you can elevate. It's time for you to dump that cargo that's been holding your ship down, that's been slowing it down, that's been making it go in the wrong direction. You see, the strongest people are not those who never struggle. The strongest people are those who refuse to drift. Faith is not believing God after he performs the miracle. Faith is believing before the miracle arrives. Here's what I've learned about God. That he will always present a test of faith. You see, when God is about to bless you, he tests your trust. Prayers seem to go unanswered for a period of time. Blessings feel delayed. But God does not delay or deny. He delays to strengthen your spirit, to purify you during the process, and to test you during the tribulation. What I've learned is that God does not listen to what you say, but he hears your faith. See, many of us talk a good game, but at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's talk. But he will hear your faith because your faith shows up in your discipline. Your faith shows up in your work ethic. Your faith shows up in how you treat people. It's what you believe is going to happen before God even does it, before he provides the miracle. Will you trust him? Will you take that step even when you can't see the next step? Will you take it and have faith that God got you? So use your faith as an anchor to stabilize you during the storm, because the storm doesn't decide your outcome. Your faith does. The storm doesn't decide your destination. Your purpose does. You get it? Remember, I'm going to say it again. Just because you got this strong, unmovable faith, it doesn't mean that you won't experience any storms. Faith is what you keep in the middle of the storm. That's God's test for you. And it's not to show God who you are. God is done with you because he put your future before you were born inside of you already. He already knows who you are. It's to prove to yourself who you are. It's to prove your character to yourself. That is the test of faith. It is for you. You see, one of the greatest illustrations that I found is in the scripture. It's when Jesus spent all day preaching and teaching the people. And as evening approached, he looked at his disciples and said, "Let us go over to the other side." Now notice, Peep those words. He didn't say, let's see if we make it to the other side. He said, let us go to the other side. Now, what that means was that the destination already set, and he declared it. So they all climbed into a boat and they got into the sea as they began crossing the other side. Now, in the beginning, everything was peaceful. It was smooth sailings, the water was calm, and the skies were clear. Then, without warning, a violent storm arose. This when the devil be creeping in, right? Creeping in your life. All of a sudden, stuff happens. All of a sudden, here go a huge storm, and the winds begin to blow, and the waves begin to crash up against the ship. Water started filling inside the ship. Pause. One thing I need you to know, it's not the water outside of a ship that sinks the ship. It's the water that comes inside that sinks the ship. So during this storm, all of this water started coming in the ship, filling it up. Now, we're talking about experienced seamen. Some of these disciples were, as you read the Bible, were already fishermen. So they knew about seas, they knew about storms, they've experienced it, but this was a storm like none other, right? They were actually scared for their life. They believed during this storm that they were about to die. So clearly, this was no ordinary storm. They were in the middle of all chaos. But guess what? Jesus was in there asleep. All of this chaos is going on, and Jesus is asleep. Can you imagine that? So the disciples are panicking, but the Prince of Peace, he was sleeping. So then they finally cried out to him, Teacher, Jesus, hey, it's a big storm going on. I think we may perish. What should we do? Can you help us, please? You see, when life falls apart and when that diagnosis comes and when your business struggles and when your relationship breaks, we ask God the same thing. God, don't you care? Because his disciples were wondering why he was in their sleep. Are you going to sit there and let us perish? But God woke up, went to the window, looked outside, and he said, peace, be still. And all of a sudden, immediately the wind stopped blowing. Immediately the clouds left and the sea became calm. Then Jesus asked a question that echoes throughout to history to this day. Why were you so afraid? And where was your faith? I'm going to ask you that question. What are you afraid of? And where is your faith? Notice something very profound. Jesus didn't just rebuke the storm, he also rebuked their fear. Because fear was sinking them long before the storm was. You see, the greatest danger wasn't the storm outside of the boat, it was the fear that was inside of the boat. That's why faith is your anchor. An anchor doesn't keep storms from coming. The anchor keeps you from being carried away because your faith will always keep you grounded. You see, when your finances are under attack, your faith says, God is my provider. When your body is under attack, your faith says, God is my healer. When your future looks uncertain, faith says, if God said we're going to the other side, then we're going to get to the other side, money or not. You see, the disciples focused on the size of the storm, but Jesus only focused on the destination. And maybe that's a word that somebody needs to hear tonight. You see, God has already spoken over your life. You see, he has already declared power over your future. The storm you were facing may not have the authority to cancel what God has already promised. It doesn't. Whatever storm you're going through, whatever battle you're going through, whatever fight you are in, it does not have the authority to cancel what God has already promised you. But if you don't have the faith, It can delay you. So have faith that you are on the right path. Have faith that you are charting your spiritual ship in the right direction. And no matter what you go through, you are going to never give up and chart the course. So don't let panic become your captain. Never let fear take the wheel. Drop your anchor and anchor yourself in God's promises. Anchor yourself in his word. Anchor yourself in prayer. Anchor yourself in faith. Anchor yourself in knowing that God's got your back. Anchor yourself in knowing that you are a chosen one. Anchor yourself in knowing that God has never left you yet. And you have come too far for God to leave you. Anchor yourself in those thoughts. And know who you are and whose you are, and that you are the captain of this ship. Y'all get it? Because when faith is anchored in Christ, you may rock. Your ship may roll, right? Your ship may lean. Your ship may rock. But guess what? You will never be swept away. Storms reveal who you are anchored to. And if your anchor is money, then you'll shrink with money. You'll shrink with money if it's anchored to money. When your money's gone, guess what? Your ship will sail away with it. It'll disappear. If your anchor is people, you'll drift when people leave. If your anchor is Christ, then the waves may shake your ship, but it'll never steal the destination. This is why your crew matters. You need a strong crew. Every ship has a crew because no one in this life succeeds alone. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make is allowing mutiny on their ship. And that's the negative people. That's those jealous people on your ship, right? That's those small-minded people on your ship. That's those fearful people on your ship. That's those people that are questioning the destination on your ship. Those are the people that are gossiping on your ship. The people that are talking behind your back on the ship, but are smiling in your face. Those are the people you need to kick off your ship, right? Because those are the people that think you crazy until you actually reach land, until you reach the destination. Then they're singing your praises. But during the storms, they truly don't have your back. And if you want to know if your crew members got your back the most, go through a storm that lasts longer than they think it should last. You'll find out who got your back. Matter of fact, just let your car break down for a month. You'll find out who your friends are, who will give you a ride. They'll tell you better take Uber, right? So a wrong crew can actually sink the ship. Some people don't need more opportunities. They just need a better crew. And once you see this, you'll start to understand the true fact that if you show me your 5 closest friends, I'll show you your future. Because, see, some people are carrying crew members who drill holes in your ship while pretending to be your friend. But as your discernment increases, then your circle decreases. Y'all caught that? As your discernment increases, your circle decreases, because not everybody belongs on your ship. This is why you have to be the master of your faith and the captain of your soul. You see, when you're going through calm seas, everybody rocking with you. It's all good. But see, you are not grown in comfort, right? Storms create strong captains. Storms reveal your faith. Storms reveal your discipline. Storm reveals your courage. And storms reveal your character. It's not built when the seas are calm. Anybody can sing your praise when everything is working. And anybody can trust when the account is full. But what happens when the waves rise? What happens when that diagnosis arrives, right? What happens when you lose that job? How do you deal with it? You see, a ship doesn't sink because of the water around it. It sinks because of the water that gets inside of it. Think about that. So ships are surrounded by water every day. You see, the danger isn't external. The danger in your life is internal. Likewise, the same is true about you. You can survive the criticism around you, but not the criticism inside of you. You can survive the negativity around you, but not the negativity inside you. You can survive the doubt around you, but you can't survive the doubt inside you. You can survive the hate around you, but you can never survive the hate inside you. You see, the enemy's greatest weapon isn't getting around your ship, it's getting inside your ship. That means he's getting inside of your spirit. That means he's getting inside of your soul. That means he's getting inside your system. That's your belief system. He's getting inside your ship. And you just riding with him. He's getting inside of your identity. That's making you question everything about your purpose and your destination. Because once water gets inside, the ship begins to sink itself. So I'm here today to tell you to protect your thoughts, y'all. I'm here to tell you today to protect your peace, and I'm definitely here to tell you to protect your spirit. So as we dock tonight, I want you to picture yourself as a ship that is crossing a vast ocean. Now, many of us have sailed through rough water, so that's nothing new. Many of us are exhausted. That's nothing new. But some of us are carrying wounds that nobody knows about. And some of you have survived storms that should have destroyed you. Some of you are here still floating. Some of you are here still sailing. You're still moving. You're still believing. You're still fighting. And that's proof that God has not abandoned your ship. So listen carefully. The ocean was never designed to be controlled. The waves will come. The winds will shift. But people will jump overboard. Some crew members will betray you. Some ports will reject you. But some of those determine your destiny. None of those things determine your destiny. The captain does. And tonight, I want you to take the wheel. Tonight, I want you to start steering for yourself and stop letting disappointment steer. Stop letting your past steer. I want you to take back the wheel, adjust your compass, drop your anchor, and kick the crew members off that need to be off. Get the crew members on that need to be on and keep sailing, because one day you'll arrive at a destination that everyone thought that was impossible. And then you'll have to ask yourself, God, how did I get through this storm without you? The truth is you never did, because there's nothing that we can do in this life without God. Because without God, man cannot. And without man, God will not. Y'all, you are listening to the King Raphael Show. I always want to tell you to keep your faith higher than your fear and your purpose stronger than your pain. And always remember to leave no room for the devil, because he doesn't belong in your house. Stay blessed and stay smooth. Listen, dreams don't work unless you do. The reason why I started my Airbnb business is because I wanted financial freedom. I wanted to take my time back. I wanted to spend time with my family. I wanted to take my daughter on trips to create lasting memories. Now, I'm doing this to build community wealth, because at the beginning of the pandemic, I've seen so many people in pain. I've watched so many family members struggle. I've seen people lose not only their jobs, but their homes. And it's because of a lack of information. Now, somewhere I read, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. Now, as a college professor over the past 10 years, I've taught well over 10,000 students. Today, it's your turn. Click the link below to get started, and I'll see you on the other side.